What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be installing our first mod on the Fox body I picked up. So I went ahead and picked up a MGW shifters short throw shifter for the 1990 LX that I picked up not too long ago. If you haven't seen the first video where I pretty much give a rundown of everything that's going on with the car, go ahead and give that a quick watch. I'll leave a link in the description below. But anyway, like I said, picked up an MGW shifters short throw shifter. So this one is I believe it's the top throw model for the T5s and T56 transmissions, if I remember correctly. I'll leave a link down below so that you guys can take a look at this exact same shifter. And yeah, I'll go through the process. It's my first time doing it, so we will be doing this together essentially. This is everything that comes included with it, by the way. So they give you like this little mat here. I believe it helps quiet like transmission noise and sound, and it's a little heat resistant. You got all your gaskets, the actual handle itself, and a sticker. That's important. Shift knob, jam nut, and shift knob wrench. And then in that you have the actual, shifter mechanism. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. Let's try and make this short and simple. I did want to do a video on this because, quite frankly, there are videos on the MGW shifters, but there aren't a lot for Fox bodies. So it's all the SN95 stuff, the new edge stuff. So I wanted to go ahead and show you guys what it's like to do it on a Fox body. So let's get started. Okay, guys, to begin, I've seen plenty of videos on people taking these apart, so hopefully I can remember how to do it right. But I'm pretty sure you can start off by just lifting up on this plastic piece, just like so. Then I guess you can just go ahead and lift this off, set it to the side. We got 4 screws down there, 4 screws down here, got one there, one there. There's another screw right down under there. I don't know if you can see. And there's going to be another one down there somewhere. So okay, so let's go ahead and get these screws removed. These aren't perfectly straight up, so I don't know if that's normal or not, but okay, screw number 1. Okay, let's get screw number 2. Okay, that's screw number 2. And then we have the 2 that are like hidden. Okay, so quick update for you guys. The 2 screws that are under this part of the dash are a little hard to reach, so I'm just taking apart the dash. I already took out everything under the steering wheel here, and then we're just gonna pull out all this good stuff, and this will go in nice and easy. So it's actually a good thing I'm doing that, because I'm discovering that there are a lot of screws and hardware that are missing in a lot of these components. So I need to keep track of that so that I can go out and buy all these pieces that I'm missing. Like I said, with the console in place, I couldn't get to these 2 screws that you see here. Obviously, I've already gotten the old shifter handle off. Once again, I'm gonna get these screws out, bolts, whatever, 5/16. Okay, guys, one more. Okay, so then you can pop off this piece here, and your lower shift boot, or upper shift boot, goddamn. You can take off your old, I guess this would be the lower shift boot. Okay, so there's a Hurst shifter in here. Interesting, so it's coming off. We're gonna take a 13mm socket, and we're just gonna get these bolts off. So overall, so far, if I'm being honest with you guys, this whole process isn't difficult. I don't have anything to pry the, oh, okay. Well, I guess I don't need anything to pry this thing off with. I guess let's get on to taking all that extra gasket material off and then just putting in the MGW. So I got that off, and that's what it looks like in there. So I'm gonna start cleaning all this gunk off, and then we'll get into getting the MGW on. got the old gasket, or as much of it off as I could. Used a little brass bristle brush and tried using a razor. Didn't really work out that well. This brass bristle brush worked a lot better. So that's nice and smooth now. That new gasket I'm gonna put on there, silicone gasket's gonna sit really nice on there. And now we can actually get started on putting on the MGW shifter. So let's keep going. MGW does include both this silicone gasket, and then they have like your gasket maker. So they give you both options. If you do go with this option, they do recommend that you put some blue Loctite on the hardware that they give you. So it's also important to mention, number one, then you got your lock washer that goes on, and then your washer that goes on last. And it goes in that order, and these are 10mm bolts. So let's go ahead and get these on. This is not the same on both sides. So you can see there's less material on this side, and then you have more material on this side. So it does matter which way this thing goes. So that's important to note when you put this thing on. Okay, so you're gonna pop that guy on, just like so. Then you're gonna throw your MGW, I guess, shifter assembly right on top of that, getting that little shifter ball in that little cup, just like so. Nice and easy, get it all lined up. It's not very difficult. Actually, that little red silicone gasket they give you makes it super easy. Then we can go ahead and apply some blue Loctite to your bolts that'll actually hold this thing in place. MGW does recommend blue Loctite, so let's go ahead. If you're using the red silicone gasket, if you're going to use like the gasket maker, the RTV, they don't require that you use the blue Loctite, but if you do go with this option, then they do want you to go ahead and use some Loctite. Poke the hole in that. It's got some blue Loctite on these. Get them all started. You don't want to put too much. Decent amount on all these screws. I mean, this is a shifter, so you definitely don't want these going anywhere. At least I know I wouldn't want them to go anywhere. So okay, and then don't tighten it too much, because we want to make sure that we align all of these. So let's go ahead and do the next one. Okay, cool. So we got that in place. Next up, guys, is to go ahead and install your stops. That's going to be this hardware here that they give you. You want this end to go right into the holes that you see here in the shifter assembly. You want to go into you can start off in 4th gear and just start screwing that in. Yeah, I mean, you can very clearly feel when that touches that. When you can feel that screw touch the shifter, you can very clearly feel that. So then we'll go ahead and get your lock washer on. And then you can go ahead and start screwing on your, essentially your lock nut. And then if you want, you can actually go ahead and apply some blue Loctite there. Make sure that's nice and solid on there, and that's not going to go anywhere. You're going to want to grab a 14mm wrench to go ahead and crank down on that. Go ahead and apply, if you'd like, some blue Loctite on that. They have an Allen key that they give you that you can use to hold that screw in place so you don't crank on it when you're screwing down that lock nut. So let's go ahead and use that. So like I said, you can very clearly feel when that touches, so It's not going to go any further than that. Just hold that in place. And they do recommend that you hit that stop, you hit that point, then you go one full turn back. So you can very clearly tell what that is with the Allen key. So then you can just go ahead and hold it at that spot, and then just go ahead and tighten down this this lock nut here. I don't think you need to go too crazy with this thing in terms of how tight it gets, but just go ahead and crank her down. There we go. I think that's solid. That's not going to go anywhere, I don't think. That's on there pretty snug. So then you're just going to go ahead and repeat that same process for the stop on the back. So go ahead and shift it. Put your shifter into third. So once again, you want this end to actually touch the shift knob or handle, shift handle. So just find that hole, start threading that in there. Just make sure you don't cross thread anything. Okay, so right there, yep, it hit right there. So once again, same process. Okay guys, let's move on to the next step. I mean, this is already on there, so essentially we just have to start putting everything back together. So let's get the lower shift boot on. Let's get the cover for this. Oh, actually got that right here. So just set this guy back on, right over, just like so. Pull that over that, and then you just have to kind of force this bad boy over the rest of the assembly there. Get it over the bottom portion so that it's nice and sealed. It's a little snug, that's for sure, but you want it to be snug to keep everything clean. At this point now, we can start getting the rest of the shifter assembly back onto the cars. What's up guys? It's actually another day. I was filming that video. I did skip fairly big portion of this whole thing. Okay, so where I was going, camera died. I wanted to finish this up. I didn't want to wait till the battery recharged, so I just went and finished it up. I'm pretty sure I left off at, I think I was either installing the stops, because I already finished bolting down like the shifter assembly to the transmission. So I think it died when I was installing the stops. So you finish installing the stops, just like I was saying. Once you finish installing the stops, then you can essentially go ahead and throw the boot, like the boot cover or the shifter cover that comes with your shifter, and then you can go ahead and throw on your, I honestly don't know what you call this, but your like lower shift boot, right? This one. I installed the original one. This thing's all messed up, but until I buy another one, it'll work. So, I mean, it's all messed up, but whatever, it'll work for now. And then you install, or this is all one piece. I can't remember. You install this piece on and you're good to go. So once you do that, then you can go ahead and do what I did and just install, I don't actually know what you would call this, but I guess your shifter like handle holder connector, I don't know what you would call that, but essentially they send you this, and this sits on that little nub that was on the shifter assembly, and it's held in place with these screws that you see there, right? So you tighten those up with the provided Allen key, get it nice and snug, and then you take your actual like shifter knob and you place that in there, right? And then same thing, you use the provided Allen key and you just tighten down these screws. And then once you do that, then you can move on to installing whatever shift knob you have using their jam nut. So the whole process was super simple. I'm sorry that I didn't record that. I figured that if anybody was going to be watching this, the hardest part of it all was going to be, you know, getting all this stuff out, removing the old shifter, putting in the new one. I figured this, you know, yes, would it have been helpful for somebody to see that? Probably,
But I think this whole portion here is pretty self-explanatory. It's just those screws that you tighten up, and then you insert whatever handle you purchased, lock nut, and then the shifter ball, shift knob, I guess you can call it. This is an MGW shift knob. I just didn't opt for the branded one. They have one that has branding on it right here on the side. I just went with the standard black. One other cool thing to mention that I guess I can bring up while I'm talking about this, because this is like on that little stub right there, this piece can be angled like towards you, away from you. If you really, really wanted, you could spin it the other way, and I guess kind of like move the shifter further away from you. I don't know. And then the same applies for the front portion here, where your actual shift like handle, the shifter handle comes up. You can loosen those screws and you can angle the shifter towards you, or away from you, or once again, if you don't want to flip the whole piece around, you can just flip the knob around. You can rotate everything 360 degrees, right? So that's super cool. You have a bunch of adjustment that you can do. And I think that's really awesome. You can kind of customize what direction you want it to sit and that kind of thing. So that's really cool. And I forgot to mention this, you can adjust the height that it sits at. So I just went ahead and let let me show you from down here. I just let this piece sit all the way down as far as it would go on the nub there. And then I left the shift handle to just sit just a little over flush with the orange piece. So you can also adjust the height at which you want it to sit by some degree. Obviously, well, not obviously, I guess if you're watching this video you may not know, but MGW does offer different length shift handles. You have, I think you have race, which is their most aggressive one. You have standard, and then you have comfort. So standard's like right in between. Race is going to be the shortest one, and then you have comfort, which is the longest one. I went with standard, and so far I'm really liking it. I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to finish up this video, show you guys what the shifter looks like installed. But yeah, I just wanted to finish up the video. Didn't want to leave you guys hanging. Like I said, left off at the stops, I'm pretty sure. You go ahead and throw your the little included cover over those stops and the shifter, and then you just go ahead and install your lower boot and this piece here. One screw, second screw, third screw, and if it'll focus, fourth screw. And then, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm just gonna leave this like this for now until I figure out what I'm doing with the interior, if I'm gonna clean it or just buy new parts or whatever. That's not important to this. That's the MGW shifter. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments what you think I should work on, if the angles were okay, if you want better angles. Let me know what the audio sounds like to you. Let me know down below if you enjoyed it. Please like, share the video. Hopefully this can be useful to somebody that's looking to pick up an MGW shifter, because when I was looking at videos, there was only one video of another guy. I think his name is House of Dula. I think that's how you say that. If I mispronounce that, I'm so sorry, but he did a video on his 1986 Fox, and he's installing one of these. So I guess I'm about to be number 2, unless there's somebody out there that did one and I just couldn't find it on YouTube. I'm about to be number 2, so I wanted to show you guys how to do this in case you have questions or you're wondering the same thing. I mean, you want to have as much info as possible, right? So guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one.